You have to learn how to speak for it in the language of your buyer, not in your own language, not in the language of your industry and all that jargon, but in the language of your ideal client in a detailed, specific level with extreme emotional depth. Hence why you've heard me say many times, the deeper you go, the dollars will flow. Surface shit, surface messaging, surface content, surface names of your offer, surface branding is going to get you surface level cash, not lifestyle changing. And if you just want surface cash, just go work for someone else or stay working for someone else. And I know that's not cutting it for you anymore. Let me ask you something that might sting a little. How many years have you spent building your career, your skills, your knowledge base, doing the work, getting the results, making the mistakes, knowing your stuff, only to get online and feel like none of this translates, that no one is listening, that there should be way more people buying from you compared to other people that you see who have way less experience and don't even seem that interesting? Like somehow all of that experience that people in your physical world respect and value just doesn't seem to land the same way online. You're not imagining it, and it's not because you're behind, and it's not because you're too late. It's not because you're too old or too young or look a certain way or sound some type of way. It's absolutely not because the market is saturated either. It's because nobody taught you the two skills that actually turn experience into income online. And without these two skills, it doesn't matter how much you know, how good you are, or how hardworking you are. The cash will not move. And here's what makes me crazy about this. These aren't complicated skills. They're just not sexy, and they can be tedious. They can even be boring, and they're not the things that people are out here selling courses on. But they're the exact reason why some people with half of your experience are making major money online while you're still trying to figure out what in the heck you're missing. Well, today we're going there. No fluff, no noise, just straight up TIFF style truth about what has actually been standing between you and the income your experience deserves to cash in on while you're helping thousands, even millions of people all over the world. Let's go. It's time to quantum jump this shit. We're going next level unfiltered. What's up, my people, my posse, my fellow crazies? It's your host, Tiffany Carter, and this is the show that is going to help you grow your business, your bank account, that big, beautiful brain of yours, your abundance, your relationships, and everything in between. This is what I'm sick of. And I noticed this in doing my 3 days to make bank live, my once a year training series that I do to start you off using my emotional based sales technique so you can accelerate your growth and fucking monetize your gifts, skills, passions, and experience online. Because it pisses me off when I see talented people, experienced people, wonderful people, high serving, heart based people, practitioners, people with credentials, people with life experience. Yet you're struggling online. You're posting content into the void. You're putting out offers that no one is really buying. And then it's making you feel like you're doing something wrong or you're not cut out for this or it's not going to work for you because of this, that, or the other. And it sucks. And then you take your foot off the gas because you think it's you and you've tried this thing, you've tried that thing. And then the more that you research what you should do, you get more overwhelmed. And then it kind of makes you not want to do it at all because it's not clear. And you certainly don't want to waste your time, energy, and money. And guess what? We are going to get into the real reason why people aren't buying your stuff, why your audience isn't growing, and exactly what you need to do about it. Because you've put in the time. You have the heart. You care. You're willing to do the stuff. I know you are. You're willing to plan the work and work the plan. You just don't want to run around in circles and waste your precious energy and time because you've already done that. You deserve the return. You deserve to have that energy exchange. And I need to do an extra shout out to my health practitioners, my healers, my highly sensitives, and my intuitives. It's going to get me emotional because there's so many of you that are in Make Bank this year. There's so many of you that are in the Posse membership. There are so many of you that are joining during the pre-launch sale of Selling with Soul, which is my signature program. that is only run once a year. And the pre-launch is right now, which is where you get $1,000 off. You also get an exclusive one-time only masterclass where I am teaching you how to create videos that convert in 15 minutes or less a day. Like, we are doing this class together where I'm not just dependent on one or two things, where you're having money flowing in at all different times of the day regularly. And I like setting things up where if I want to take the whole summer and barely work, I can. And that delights me. That's freedom to me. I'm really big on freedom of time and freedom of energy while also knowing I'm serving at my highest good. I'm using all the shit I've been through, my life experience. This includes all the trauma that I've been through. If you've not heard much of my story, and just a major trigger warning on my book, but you can listen to the first 5 chapters of my book at projectmewithtiffany.com/book. So it's right on my website. And you can listen to it on YouTube as well, Project Me TV. My point in saying that is you're being called to quantum jump. You're being called to go to the next level. So many of us are. Go look at my posts and my content on Instagram, on Facebook, on TikTok, and why it keeps going viral. And look at the hundreds and thousands of comments from people. And it's all of us who have high emotional IQs, who really care, who are more awake, and our world fucking needs us. It's broken. We are being called to step forward. That doesn't mean it's comfortable. In fact, it's very fucking painful and vulnerable. I keep crying right now because of being around the energy of all of you who have trusted me. And I feel so honored to hold that space, and how much appreciation is poured in for three days to make bank, where I've made it very clear, right? Because if you don't know me, it's like, oh, this is just another like free thing, and it's going to be a sales fest, and it's going to be circle talk. And that you have more clarity and more direction, and exactly, it clicked for you finally, and you've paid for a lot of things and it didn't click. Now, that's not going to be enough, because you have to hold yourself accountable and you have to keep going, just like anything else. Like, it would be crazy to think, oh, I took a weekend class on how to do somatic healing for people, and like that's enough and you don't need any continuing education. Like, that would be absolutely insane, which is why I invite you into Selling with Soul. Now, if you have missed any of the days of 3 days to make bank live, we do have some VIP tickets available. And the only way you get access to the replay is by getting a VIP ticket. And you also get, for tomorrow, depending on when you're listening to this, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, on March 6th at 12 p.m. Pacific, 3 p.m. Eastern, being a VIP, you get an intimate Q&A with me. It's maxed out at 50 people, where we are really going to accelerate and help you customize everything that I have taught inside 3 days to make bank. And you get 10-day replay access to that too. So don't use, I'm working, I'm traveling, I missed it. Won't do this again until 2027. And I might not do it again ever, because I don't have to. Because exactly what I've set up for myself is what I show you how to set up. And it works for any industry. Okay. At this point, I've worked now over 170 different industries, and it has been applied. My other company that I have, that I've had now almost 19 years, that's in the health and medical and supplement space. We also do skincare too, but anything in that field. And all my emotional based sales techniques are what has generated over $250 million in sales transactions. I don't need to like prove it to you that it works. I need you to show up so I can teach you and you apply it, and then you see how it works. But if you're going, oh, well, I've tried it twice and it's not working, well, then you're not a good fit for Selling with Soul. You're not a good fit to even come to 3 days to make bank for free. You're not even a good fit for this podcast, because you're in so much resistance of it better work and it's got to work now. And why isn't it happening now? That doesn't work in any area of your life. Can you imagine an Olympic athlete saying, I better get gold? Look at all the work I put into this. If I don't get gold, then nothing else matters. And it's like, that's gross. That's a gross attitude. It's like, yeah, you want the gold. Of course we want the gold, honey. Just like for my launch, it's once a year for Selling with Soul. This is very vulnerable. It's even though I've done it several times, even though I'm someone who's a business growth expert and I teach launching and all that stuff, it doesn't matter. It's still, I have packaged my intellectual property and I'm teaching you income generating skills, but you're still buying and having to trust me, Tiffany Carter. This isn't me selling like a widget. Just like I have a friend who designs jewelry. Very fucking vulnerable for her. Like, because even though you're not buying her intellectual property, you're buying her creative property. And so putting yourself out there, putting money on the line, having yourself be exposed to thousands and millions of strangers, and then having them entrust you with their time, energy, and money, right? It's fucking vulnerable. And if you think that you're going to be able to do that overnight or do that on your own without having guardrails, without having accountability, or without having the proper support, guidance, and direction, that is unhealthy delusion. That's self-sabotage delusion. And I really want you to hear me on this because it's so easy for our egos to take us there. It's so easy. Even there's other people in our lives who will say, well, can't you just figure this out with AI? Can't you just do this through YouTube? Like, well, I thought you bought a program before. I thought you bought a course before. Didn't you hire so and so before, some agency? Well, if it didn't work then, why would it work now? It's insanity. It doesn't make sense. That's like saying, oh, well, you tried this workout and this nutrition plan, and you even hired, a private trainer, and none of that worked. So you might as well never fucking try to be there and support your health and feel good in your body again. You might as well not, right? I mean, I love that the timing of all of this is when we're watching the Olympics. It's like these are people who have the best of the best, have people sponsoring them, some more than others. They're the people who are getting up at like 3 a.m. to train, and so much dedication. And sometimes they get injured and they win nothing. Sometimes they end up shitting the bed mentally and they just crap out and they can't do it. Sometimes they're on the top of their game and everything works and they get the gold. But when you can't control that, but if you don't stack the odds in your favor and set things up for your success, I can guarantee you won't be successful. Now you're hoping for a fluke. You're hoping just for like a magic strike of luck. And listen, we always welcome luck. I teach manifestation. We love all of that, but I teach active manifesting. Luck is like the magic of life. That's beautiful. That's always involved. But you also have to set yourself up to position yourself to have that luck. And if you're not willing to do that, that's also okay. But this type of business model of what you're wanting to create won't work for you. And if you're watching someone else's shit, some fantasy marketer, whether they're in your industry or not, making it sound like something much more quick than I'm saying or magical than I'm saying, they're doing a shimshammery on you and you're wanting to buy into it because it sounds so much easier. And what I teach you is actually fucking simple and straightforward. What's hard is this, and I'm pointing to my head if you're not watching the show on ProjectME TV on YouTube. It's our brains. Don't think for a second. And I don't know why I'm going off on this tangent right now. I feel so fucking vulnerable, but whatever. I don't have time to. Is this even recording? Oh, it is recording. Oh my God. Anyway, I think it's important for you to hear this. This isn't like, oh, Tiffany has like insane confidence, or because Tiffany has millions stacked, it's easy, or because Tiffany teaches this or whatever. I'm not going to take away from the fact that I have some things that give me more of a cushion now than I did in the beginning. But the truth is, you end up having more on the line. You have more exposure, more visibility, and then you end up investing more money in your business. So then you have even more on the line because you have more people who work for you, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it's fucking uncomfortable. But if you are willing and humble to have that direction, and you're willing and humble to keep investing in yourself, and you're willing and humble to keep showing up regardless, and you're willing and humble at the very least, we're speaking at the beginning of March here. From now to the end of the year, I'm going all in on this. I don't care if you have a jobby job. I coach a lot of people who have jobby jobs. I coach people who, they come into Selling with Soul and they can't attend to any of the lives. That's why my programs are designed where it doesn't fucking matter if you can show up live or not. I work with people all over the world. There is no perfect time zone. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't have to show up live, but you have to show up for what I'm teaching and follow through with the implementation I give you. Otherwise, you're just having more information and it's not going to get you anywhere. But are you going to show up? Are you going to show up for yourself? Because you won't quantum jump otherwise. You're going to stay spun stuck in your old identity, or in between the two, in your own purgatory. You have to decide, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to truly go I'm gonna go full ass here. Not half ass. Half ass, you're gonna get half ass results. Half ass cash. We're not about that life. Full juicy ass in. Don't you think it's about time? I mean, how much more obvious does it need to be from the world, from the universe, from God, from spirit, from source, that you're being called? You wouldn't be listening to this episode. You wouldn't have attended, 3 days to make bank live, or now getting a VIP ticket. I don't even think I gave the website for you to sign up to get the VIP. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com/make bank. And then even if you have to re-register, because it probably will make you, it's okay. So that you can get the VIP option to pop up. All right. That's all you need to do. I've put all the links, including for Selling with Soul class of 2026, the pre-launch sale, which will be ending soon, is inside the show notes. So you can swipe up on Apple or Spotify. And if you're watching on YouTube, it's in the description here on YouTube. Some of these links are not in my link in bio on social. Okay. Because you are a podcast listener, you actually get first access to a lot of things that the general public doesn't. I don't even know where I was going with this. But for the love of God, how much more obvious does it need to be that it's time? And you wanting more of a sign and more evidence, and you're going, but Tiffany, my engagement is bad, and I've put stuff out there and not much is working, and I've had this happen. Yeah, and I'm going to go back to the Olympics. I mean, we can use any sport, but to make it timely, you don't think that when they get injured, one of these gymnasts sprains a fucking ankle and it's like, I sprained an ankle, now I'm out. It's like, no, they go and do what they have to do. How can I stay in the game? How can I stay in the game? To think you're going to have just a straightforward path to get there, that doesn't exist in life. That doesn't exist in a marriage. That doesn't exist in a friendship. That doesn't exist in your own personal development. That doesn't exist in parenting. So it's not going to exist in your business. You have to set yourself up so showing up is the only option. And if it's with someone like me and in a container that you're like, no, I trust that Tiffany is going to have a container that's going to hold me accountable, that's going to give me that support, I'd be honored to have you. But like I said, we're maxed out at 200 spots. That's what I can feel we can hold energetically. I mean, obviously, it's not private coaching, but we want to make sure we're giving you a highly personalized experience and keeping you accountable so you don't get lost in a sea of, 1,000 people taking something. So all the information is on the page, projectmewithtiffany.com/selling with soul. And if you don't like that, I just went off on some tangent here, then I'm also probably not for you. Because truly, when I do that, it's not out of a self-serving way. Part of why I do this podcast, how I do it, which is a live to tape format, is what we call it in the industry. It is edited for sound quality, but we're not editing what I say, is because what comes out of my mouth, same with your stuff. When you're having a real conversation with someone one on one, a dear friend, a client, a stranger on an airplane. The best, now I'm crying again. Jesus, Lord, have mercy on me. The best advice I've ever gotten and the best advice I've ever given, and the shit I really need to hear, isn't planned, isn't outlined, isn't scripted. It's when someone has felt safe enough in my presence, or when I have felt safe enough and moved enough and I'm willing to be transparent and vulnerable enough to have God speak through me, have the universe speak through me. And I hope that that landed with you today. I have a feeling it did. All right. Part one with this, the myth, why experience doesn't automatically equal online income. I know what happens with so many of you. I coach probably more doctors than anyone in the industry because of my other business being in medical, and I'm well known in the medical space, and doing medical, any form of medical or health marketing is highly regulated. And I'm an expert in that. So I do end up attracting a lot of practitioners. Okay, so they've got the fucking DR in front of their name. That's a lot of, you don't get more credentialed than that, right? In terms of education. Let me tell you, that's not enough. That's not enough in order for you to have income online. It's not. That'd be great, but it's not. Otherwise, shit, I'd go and get my doctorate. Well, okay, that's a lie. I wouldn't. That's what you guys, that's so much school and so much money, and it's not necessary. But then there's people who, and I'm not like knocking you, don't even have a college fucking degree or even a certification, and they're cashing in heavy. I'm talking tens and tens of millions of dollars. Big fucking money. My stepfather is no longer with us. I don't even know if he actually graduated high school. Super successful, in sales. He got in the meat business, right? Like, he had the tenacity. He learned the skill of selling, and messaging and packaging and positioning himself, which is one of the key skills that you're walking away being certified in. Like, you literally get a certification that you can put on your LinkedIn if you so choose, in my emotional based sales techniques that I'm teaching you. It doesn't matter. Look at the Snuggie. I love giving the example of the Snuggie. Okay, I think the Snuggie is a worldwide thing. Let me know, all my Euros, my Argentinians, my Aussies, okay, my Kiwis. Like, did the Snuggie make it to you guys at some point? I feel like it's had to. So I like using it as an example, or even like the sponge fucking daddy. It's a goddamn cheap ass sponge in the shape of a smiley face that it costs pennies to make. The margins are insane. Same with the Snuggie. It's a flammable piece of material, truly flammable. So cheap to make. They can sell it for cheap. There's still high margins. This is not based on quality. This isn't scientific research, and it makes a ton of money. Then you could have someone who has the most well thought out supplements, the most well thought out health program. They have the most well thought out science-based course. They have 500 certifications and all these hours in somatic healing. And then you're not making shit. What's the difference? You have not learned how to package, promote, and price your services, and doing marketing and branding for your overall thing. You've not learned that, and that's okay, but that's what makes the money. The great news is you have the stuff. You might go, well, there's people who, have done it longer, people who have this, that, or the other. There's always going to be, as a lot of my mentors love to remind me, there's always going to be someone richer and skinnier, honey. There's always going to be someone who's more famous. There's always going to be someone with more medals, right? Doesn't fucking matter. There's always going to be that. You already know how to do the thing and help people at least to a certain level. Maybe not to get them A to F, but you can get them A to B, right? You have that. What you don't have are the skills to get thousands of strangers on repeat to discover you and ideal client strangers, not randos that aren't going to buy from you or content vampires. Have them come to you and then very quickly are compelled to buy from you on repeat. We don't want one and done people. We want people coming back again and again and again and again. So marketing alone isn't going to even cut that. Sales alone, you have to have branding. You have to have connection with your people. So all of my fellow empaths and highly sensitives and trauma survivors out there, I say this all the time, and any of my private clients can attest to this, okay? And the people in my posse membership too. You have a special leg up because you automatically understand people and know how to connect with people so quickly. People energetically even come up to you and tell you their fucking problems. That is a great sign that we can work with. If you're someone who has no desire and you're just looking to make money alone, and listen, I show you how to make money, honey, okay? But if it's just money and it's not actually giving a shit about your people, I'm crying again. Where you give a shit about your people almost to the point where it's too much and you have to pull back because you're an overgiver. Hello, like attracts like. And you care so, so much and you wish you didn't care so much, but it's just how you fucking are. And then you have to have boundaries around it. Otherwise, people take advantage of you. You feel so much and it can just feel so dysregulating sometimes. You are the exact person who will be a top tier student of Selling with Soul and have amazing results and be one of my big testimonials without a fucking doubt. If you're feeling called to do my signature program and you're willing to bet on yourself in a whole new way and have a completely different approach and go all in on it from now to the end of the year. Selling with Soul is 5 weeks. I know how to compress time and I know how to teach you what you need to do in a short period of time, but then you have to keep doing it, right? You can't just like be taught how to do a Pilates. You can learn how to do Pilates extremely well, in fact, in 5 weeks, or do like an intensive yoga training in 5 weeks, right? There's a lot of stuff. I go to corporations and in 1 week, I can teach people how to sell. But do you think that skill is going to get better and better if you just do it 1 week a year? No, you have to actually put it into practice and you keep practicing it and the better you get. And the better you get at the skills I teach you, because they're income generating, the more money you make. Go to projectmewithtiffany.com, Selling with Soul. All the links are in the description here on YouTube, Project Me TV, and you can swipe up on Apple and Spotify. Again, if you missed any of the 3 days to make bank live and you're like, shit, I missed it, or I thought, yeah, I need to do it, I don't know how I spaced out on it, that's okay. I've done this before too. That's where I got the idea of doing the VIP, is because there was someone's thing that they did. It was a 5 day thing. I even, it was paid for. I paid like a level 1 tier for it. And then I completely forgot. I'm like, damn it, I need to have the replay access. I want to do this. So then I went and upgraded it. That's why we have it available for you. So you know where to go for those links. I don't need to keep repeating myself. Oh my God. I'm so I'm so raw and emotional. I really want to delete this episode. I feel like you're hating it and you're like, this is such a waste of time and this isn't helpful and this isn't doing anything. And I feel all sorts of squidgy. So please let me know if you appreciate this level of candor, because I know there aren't that many fucking people who do it because it's so vulnerable. And I feel like because of all the work I've done on myself and all the work I continue to do, I've always wanted there to be someone who would just fucking truly share it. So I wouldn't feel so alone in it. So I wouldn't think that I was the only one who was messy and maybe I'm not meant to do this because I'm so messy. No, it's fucking messy. And because you're messy is why you're meant to do it. You got to be unwell in the mind. to do these things, okay? You just do. The online marketplace doesn't pay for experience. It pays for two very specific skills, and the most experienced people were never taught them. Okay. The traditional world rewards tenure, credentials, resumes, referrals. The online world doesn't work that way. You could have 30 years of expertise and still make $0 online if you don't have these skills. This is not about how good you are at what you do. Let that sink in. Your results, your certifications, your record, none of that automatically converts. I'm not saying that that's not great for authority, that's not great for building trust, but it's not automatic. The part that no one tells you is this. Research from the Content Marketing Institute found that 63% of businesses say generating traffic and leads is their top challenge, not their lack of expertise, not the credentials. The challenge is always the same: getting seen and getting people to take action. Hear me on this. Getting seen, for people to even know who you are and know about your products, and getting people to take action. This is for any brand, any service, any industry in the entire world. And that is why I focus on these, because that's what moves the needle the fastest. The online world is loud and it's crowded. It feels like everyone is selling something. If you don't know how to cut through that noise in a specific way that feels genuine to you and is true to you, you become invisible regardless of how good you are at it, you know? And it's a skills gap that you have. It's not a talent gap. It's not a knowledge gap. It's not a looks gap. It's not an age gap. It's just skills. And you know what's great about skills? You can fucking learn them. And once you identify that and you start practicing it, everything changes for you. The second part, the overwhelm trap. This is why experienced entrepreneurs even get stuck longer, or even people who are really experienced in their field. The more you know, the more paralyzed you can become online because you're consuming information instead of implementing the right moves. You get like fixated on consuming and asking questions to ChatGPT and then researching here and saving this. Experienced people will consume so much about online business because they're used to mastering their field through education. So online business doesn't reward more information. It rewards implementation of the right information. Because, yeah, it's kind of also what we've been sold too, right? In school. Study, 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 pass, get the good grades, get the certification. Now you're done. I noticed this when I ran the second largest dermatology group in the country. If you're not following me on LinkedIn and you're curious about, my background in corporate, I mean, it's all listed there and tagged there. You might find it interesting or helpful or something you connect with. But what is so common is you have all these people who have gone through all this training and all these hours and spent all this money, and then they want to go open a practice. I see this a lot with my naturopaths and chiropractors too, opening a practice, but no one's taught you how to run a practice and how to get those ideal patients for your practice. And it's not as simple as you build it and they will come, or you build it and get credentialed, they will come. That doesn't work like that, but you weren't taught that. So here you've got all the skill and all the talent, even though, yeah, you have mentors that have been doing it a lot longer, and you love what you do. You have a beautiful office. You even have great staff, and that still doesn't fucking matter. If no one knows you exist and you do not compel them to take action for yourself, you're actually not going to help people either. Because how can you help people if they don't know you exist? And how can you help people if they aren't compelled to do something? That's why it's selfish to not learn how to sell in a way that feels good to you and your ideal client. I keep saying that because it's got to feel genuine to you. It's not a one-trick pony in selling. How I teach the skill is just like with people who are training for the Olympics, people who are training, like people I teach in order to improve their podcasting or speaking on stage or whatever. If it is not customized to you where it's leveraging your gifts and also managing the things that you hate doing that are draining to you or that you aren't as good at, it's not going to be sustainable. It's not going to be doable. That's where my emotional based sales techniques were born many a year ago. Many a year ago when I was in corporate pharmaceutical sales. I went through extensive training and I always shout out Merck Pharma for this. They invested a shit ton of money. I'd semi-privates with Tony Robbins. I mean, I'm talking top tier. I basically could be a pharmacist, truly, with the amount of training I got. And 90% was passing. Anything under 90, you failed, and you couldn't fail one test. You're out. I think you got one retry, and if you didn't pass it on the retry, you're out. It was no fucking joke. Like we were sequestered. I think it was for 10 weeks. It was insane. And now it's funny because now I go into these trainings and do the role plays and the sales side for people. Because now things have gotten more modernized and they realize like the old school way of selling is not really going to work in our new world. But it didn't work for me then as a highly sensitive, and I didn't know I was a highly sensitive. That wasn't a thing then. But I knew it didn't work for me. I was sweating. I had to wear deodorant on my face because I would sweat on my nose and my upper lip. I'm talking like where you could see the droplets. Well, that saying, never let them see you sweat, like that's not good in sales. You don't want someone to see you're sweating, but I was sweating not because I didn't know what I was talking about. It was because I felt so uncomfortable with the way I was being taught that I had to sell and engage in that setting. It felt so pushy and it felt annoying to me and I hated it. And so that's where my emotional based sales techniques were born because I was going to lose my job and therefore lose my apartment and my company car and a career I really wanted. I worked my ass off to get in if I didn't get my numbers up. Okay. Because you're definitely gone. And it wasn't from lack of training. And I have a college degree. It didn't matter. It had to feel genuine to me. It had to feel good to me for it to be doable. Now, of course, I had to stay within, so to speak, company lines. But I really actually didn't. I didn't. I had to do it. It was legal what I did. Well, some things I did probably weren't legal, but that's for another episode. I digress. My point is that if it feels shim shammy to you, slimy to you, sleazy to you, fake to you, annoying to you, you're just not going to do it. Just like when a workout, I'm not going to do sprints or burpees, sweetie. I'm not going to do a box jump. All right. I've destroyed my knees from being a recovered exercise addict for real and teaching step aerobics in college. Thank you for risers. I mean, step was actually pretty fun. Who remembers the different terms? Like we had around the world, then we had like reverse around the world. It was actually pretty fun, but also has destroyed my knees. I'm not going to do that. So does that mean I go, well, then I'm not going to work out. I'm not going to focus on building muscle in my body. I'm not going to take care of myself because I don't want to do this, that, or the other. It's like, what? No, you find something that does work. You find something that does fit. I don't love doing any form of working out, but I find the thing that I at least enjoy the most for that period of time, right? Well, that's what we're doing here. Neuroscience moment. The brain has a phenomenon called decision fatigue. The more options and information you're exposed to, the harder it becomes to make decisions and take action. Columbia University research found that too many choices actually reduces action. This is why information overload keeps you stuck. A lot of you are doing this innocently with your people in your business by giving so many freebies and so many options. And I need to have a course and I have a book and I have this thing. And you're talking to too many people and not directing your messaging to just one person, that it's like the yogurt section at the grocery store. And you go to the yogurt section in most countries, okay? You go to the yogurt section in Europe for sure in the US, there are so many fucking yogurts that it's ridiculous. It's like more like even the cereal aisle, right? Then you don't know what to pick and then it's all too much and then you pick nothing or you just end up picking something random. So we don't want to do that. You're not lazy. You're not unmotivated. Your nervous system is overwhelmed and defaulting to the safest behavior, consuming more instead of doing more. Consuming is safe. Doing is vulnerable. What I'm doing fucking right now in 3 days to make bank, telling your asses get the VIP if you missed it. I think it's pretty obvious that you don't, this is not something to miss. I might not ever do it again. And for sure, it doesn't ever happen again in 2026. Selling with soul is the same. I've It's only offered once a year, period, and a story. You miss it, you miss it. And it's like that's all about doing, that's all about getting into action. But oh, well, I need to look at my logo and I don't have my company name yet. And I don't know exactly my ideal client. I don't have anything to sell yet. Well, this is how you're going to get there. Okay. Waiting until you have these puzzle pieces in place, that's not worked for you. And you can keep telling yourself that lie, but we'll get to summer here and you could have been stacking cash and instead you're spinning your wheels. And that's going to be on you. And I'm not trying to be mean, but that's on you. And do you really want to set it up that way? I know for me, I'd rather set it up so that I show up and I'm stacking cash this summer. There's also a very real fear underneath this. When you have years of experience and a reputation, putting yourself online feels like high stakes. If it doesn't work, it's not just an experiment. It feels like a verdict on everything you've built. I'll even go a step further because I know you want it so badly because you know this is going to get you the freedom you want, the freedom of money, the freedom of time, the freedom of getting your energy back, the freedom of living your life on your fucking terms and owning your own schedule and being able to leave a real marker in the world. It's so vulnerable because then it's like, but if it doesn't work, then what? And so a lot of you end up not doing the half-assing because it's a way of subconsciously protecting yourself from the devastation of it potentially not working. I'll tell you right now, it's impossible for it to not work as long as you keep showing up, regardless. I feel that confident about it. Not if you're randomly doing shit from your ass. If you're just all over the place, willy-nillying it, that's not going to happen. But if you have concentrated, true effort and you keep showing up regardless of how uncomfortable it feels, regardless if you're getting external validation or not, regardless of if whatever your ego is saying to you, there's no way it can't work. But guess how it absolutely won't work? Is by you continuing to stay in that consumption mode. 70% of entrepreneurs report feeling overwhelmed by the amount of information available on how to grow their business online. You're not alone in this. This is from Forbes. You don't need more information. You need fewer, more targeted moves, specifically the two skills that move the needle. There are only two income generating skills separating the people from building profitable online businesses from the ones who stay stuck: content that converts and the ability to present and sell an offer that people are eager and excited to buy. So we're not talking about just posting content that's cute, that's pretty, that even gets views and comments. We're talking about content that converts into clients and cash. There's a massive difference between posting and profiting. People buy based on emotion and justify it with logic. If your content is purely informational, it's not converting. Your content has to make someone feel something, feel seen, understood, hopeful, called out before they'll ever take action. Even think of yourself. What made you sign up for Selling with Soul? What made you attend 3 days to make bank? What made you listen to this damn podcast? It's not just because, oh, Tiffany has the receipts and Tiffany knows her shit. She makes me laugh sometimes and she keeps it real. I'm not saying that's not part of it. It's because it makes you feel something. You feel like someone fucking gets you, that someone gets it, someone cares, and how you feel when the episode is over. Studies on consumer behavior show that emotionally connected customers have a 306% higher lifetime value than satisfied customers. Emotion drives buying decisions, period. Hence my emotional-based sales techniques. That was from Harvard Business Review. Converting content has a specific psychology to it. It's not about going viral. It's about making the right person stop scrolling and say, holy shit, this was written for me. I was meant to see this today. how the hell is she or he in my brain? And I know a lot of you are here, even listening to this, because I've made you feel that way. And how did I make you feel that way is exactly what I started teaching you inside 3 days to Make Bank Live and taught you how to implement it so you can get started. And you really want to go full ass into it, then that's Selling with Soul pre-launch sale, projectmewithtiffany.com/selling with soul. Okay. Max 200 people, only offered once a year. You get $1,000 off, and there's payment plans. I've made it so there's no, you can't make an excuse. And if you do, then you don't want it badly enough right now. And that's also okay. You don't have to want it. My job isn't to convince you to want it. My job is to show you your ass how to get it without losing your mind in the meantime. Most experienced entrepreneurs write content from their expertise. Profitable content is written from the audience's pain, desire, and internal conversation. The psychographics, not the demographics. That's the shift. And you can start by psychoanalyzing yourself because your ideal client is a version of you. It might be in a different area of their life that they struggle, but it's the same emotional thread. Skill two, packaging, presenting, and selling your offer so people are eager to buy from you. You can have the most incredible offer in the world, and it will collect dust if you don't know how to present it in a way that makes someone feel like they need it versus being optional. Think of how many incredible books or even sleeper films there are, or even songs, artists. There's so many out there because no one knows they exist. It's sad. It's a waste. This is not about being salesy or pushy. It's about understanding buyer psychology and closing the gap between what someone wants and your solution. So here's the neuroscience behind it. The brain makes buying decisions in the limbic system, not the emotional brain, not the rational brain. That means features and credentials don't sell. Transformation sells, identity sells. This is the version of me I want to become sells. Research from Nielsen shows that 90% of purchase decisions are made subconsciously. 90%. If you're marketing to the logical brain with facts and experience, you're speaking to 10% of the buying decision. The other 90% is emotional. Most experienced entrepreneurs undersell because they feel like their work should speak for itself. And then they get in their head, right? Like, I shouldn't have to be talking about it this much. And now I feel like I'm being pushy and now it kind of feels desperado and then no one's buying. And maybe it's that they don't want what I have to offer. And then you get all in your head and get all squidgy. You have to learn how to speak for it in the language of your buyer, not in your own language, not in the language of your industry and all that jargon, but in the language of your ideal client in a detailed, specific level with extreme emotional depth. Hence why you've heard me say many times, the deeper you go, the dollars will flow. Surface shit, surface messaging, surface content, surface names of your offer, surface branding is going to get you surface level cash, not lifestyle changing. And if you just want surface cash, just go work for someone else or stay working for someone else. And I know that's not cutting it for you anymore. Why this year is a year to stop consuming and start implementing. This year specifically, 2026, besides the fact it's the year of the fire horse, besides the fact that my guess is that you are quantum jumping and you can feel it, you don't have a motivational problem. You have a skills gap. And closing that gap in the year of the fire horse is going to accelerate you because we're going to leverage that energy. And that's what you're missing for having your quantum jump, at least in the income area of your life. So you've been consuming, learning, watching, waiting to feel ready. That's not a personal flaw. It's a pattern that gets reinforced every time you see another course, another strategy, another secret method. You're not behind. You're one skill shift away. Experienced people who learn to convert content and sell their offers don't just catch up, they quantum leap ahead because they already have the credibility. They already have results. They already have knowledge. They already have the heart for it. They just need the packaging. This is the fire horse year. This only happens once every 60 years. This is probably not going to happen again, ever again in your lifetime. And if you know anything about that energy, you know it's not the year to keep watching. It's the year to make bold moves, big leaps, and betting on your damn self. Full on for once. You bet on so many other people and cheerlead and support so many other people I know you have. You've done it for other companies, companies that they're not going to be at your funeral someday. You know what I'm saying? Don't you think it's time to bet on yourself? Every year you don't build this skill set, you leave compounding income on the table. Content you create today can bring you clients for years. Offers built correctly can sell on repeat, even long after you're not here anymore. Think about that. Think of Wayne Dryer, Louise Hay. Think of your favorite authors. Think of, Ozzy Osbourne, RIP, right? Like long after you're gone. Family legacy. This is leverage, and you're just a skill gap away from it. So here's where we land today. You're not struggling because you're not good enough. You're not struggling because you don't know enough. You're not struggling because no one taught you. You're struggling because you've understandably gotten yourself in an information mental spiral, and you need to have it untangled. It's like when you travel with a necklace and you've not done anything well to protect it, and it ends up in all those tiny little knots, and it's such a pain in the ass to unknot it, and you really don't want to have to unknot it to the point where you've had that same knotted necklace in your travel jewelry thing for a long time, but now you're sick of it because it's like, why even have the necklace if you're not going to wear it? And so you take the patience, you take the time, you take the delicate moves in order to unknot that. And you're like, I should have done this a long time ago. This feels a lot better. This feels satisfying. That's what we're doing. So depending on when you're listening to this, this was day 3 of 3 days to make bank live. You can grab a VIP ticket and get 10-day replay access. That's the only way you have access to the replay, plus our intimate Q&A workshop that's with me tomorrow. And you also get the recording for that too. Also, it's $177. Okay. Like I made this stupid. I made this like stupid accessible for you. And my once a year signature program, Selling with Soul, the pre-launch sale right now for the class of 2026. If you do the VIP ticket and you feel you're likely going to do Selling with Soul, or if you choose to do Selling with Soul, you can apply that ticket price as a coupon towards like a credit towards Selling with Soul. So then girl math, it's free. Okay. So all those links are inside of the show notes here in the description on YouTube. For 3 days to make it bank, go to projectmewithtiffany.com/make bank. Selling with Soul, projectmewithtiffany.com/selling with soul. This is your fire horse year. Stop fucking watching and start winning. And yeah, it's vulnerable. And yeah, it is mind fuckery. And yeah, it can feel like, God, this is taking forever. But what's your other option? What's your plan? To go back to get a jobby job, to continue slogging it out and figuring it out? What is it? What are you going to do here? Like, what? I don't get it. You know what I mean? You got to have that conversation with yourself, preferably out loud, like I do, or with like it'd have to be a really trusted friend. I caution a lot of you guys against that, because if someone doesn't get the online space or doesn't get entrepreneurship or what you're building, they lovingly don't want to see you in pain, or it brings up their own shiz, so they say crazy stuff to you. So that's why I always caution you guys. And like I'm like, at least you can always DM me. My DMs get crazy sometimes. I can't always get back to you right away, but you can always DM me on Instagram at Project Me with Tiffany, like, and ask me, is this the right move for me? Now, I'm not going to answer that for Make Bank. That's ridiculous. I don't even have to know you to know that's the right move. But if your ego is really loud in your head about Selling with Soul, and you genuinely, and you've looked at the page, which has all the information on it, Virgo style. So don't be emailing us or DMing me for some wackadoo question of like, when are the live trainings? And am I getting Tiffany's sales scripts, and how do I get Coach Tiff AI? That's all on there. Okay. But you are wanting to know, like, hey, do you feel like this is based on where I'm at right now, which is blank, blank, and blank? Do you feel like Selling with Soul is the best move for me? And if I don't feel it is, I will tell you, I might have to ask you a follow-up question or two, but I'll serve it to you straight, because selfishly, I don't want you in a program with me that you're not excited to be in, because then it won't be a good fit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't need the money that badly. And I would rather have great testimonials and you be excited to buy other things of mine, like an in person mastermind or come into my membership or other things that I do. I would rather you set it up so you have a great experience. I can't guarantee if you're going to follow through and do all the stuff, but I can guarantee that if you don't put yourself in a position where your actions match your desires of what you're saying you want and you have full ass commitment, if you don't do that, it ain't going to happen. It's just not, period. That's you trying to spiritually bypass success. That's your ego. It's a form of self sabotage because it doesn't make sense. Any successful person in any area of life, do you see them taking half measures and having success aside from someone who maybe is like a trust fund baby or, a fluke of luck? But realistically, do you really see that? No. So why would it work for you? Your ego wants it to work. I get it. I would love to not do anything and I could just do nothing and it would all work. But ultimately, I really wouldn't like that because I wouldn't be here connecting with you as deeply. It wouldn't feel nearly as fulfilling. And I would get bored at a certain point. And I don't get bored easily. I have only child syndrome. There's lots of weird things that I do all day long. And I can lose time. I can lose hours a day padiddling without knowing any. My own brain is my form of entertainment. There's no better streaming platform than Tiffany Carter's brain, which is why, and I'll leave on this, which is why you are going to be so shooketh by Coach Tiff AI. The only way to get Coach Tiff AI is by doing the pay in full option and selling with soul. We have programmed Coach Tiff AI for 3 years. It is programmed with my insane mind. It's programmed with all of my techniques. So you are getting a tool that's designed to save 50% of your time with content creation, with emails, with videos, with naming your offers, with sales pages, with website copy, with all of that. And truly, some of the best feedback that we've gotten from people, and a lot of it's is on the actual sign up page, is that when you've got the troll in your mind, you've got the inner bully coming up, when you're in self doubt, when you've got the scarcity stuff, and you're like, I'm in a spiral, Tiff, Coach Tiff, help coach me through this. Like, help me. I had Coach Tiff AI listen not to my clients because obviously that would not be cool, but just listen to me on all my private client calls. I brought my phone with me and had it on listening to me during my sales trainings in corporate settings with different people in different industries, everywhere from a medical profession to a tire company to a pharmaceutical company to fitness, you name it, to real estate offices. And I had it listen and it's been programmed and you get lifetime access to all the program updates on top of it. It's through ChatGPT. You do not have to even get the paid version in order to get it. I'm paying for it monthly to have this available for you. So you don't even have to pay for it. I do recommend the paid version of ChatGPT because especially if you're really using a lot, it's a lot faster. But this is through a platform that you're likely already familiar with. And you don't always have to go through Coach Tiff AI, but most people, once you go Coach Tiff AI, you don't go back to the regular, especially if you're doing this in this particular industry, because it's based on real receipts, real conversation, not pulling data from fucking articles. I'm not saying AI isn't helpful for compiling data and some key points and maybe some brainstorming, but it's not actually coming from real life, raw, proven experience in real time over and over and over again. And that's why the value of that. I mean, I could easily be selling this for $6,000 and you get it with the pay in full option. But remember, there's a max of 200 students that we are accepting for the class of 2026 for Selling with Soul. Go check it out by swiping up. It's in the show notes on Apple and Spotify. It's here in the description on YouTube at ProjectME TV. And I love you. Thank you for being here. If you really appreciated this level of candor and me seemingly crying every 10 minutes, I would appreciate you sharing this episode with someone else who you know would appreciate it. Take a screenshot, share it on social media, and tag me at Project Me with Tiffany. I typically reshare as many as I can of you guys shouting out the show. Leave a review of the show. That goes a long way. If you're inside 3 days to make bank, you get additional entries for $13,000 of giveaways by leaving a written review on Apple Podcasts. If you don't know how to do it, use AI, use Google. It'll tell you how to do it. It takes 30 seconds on Apple Podcasts. On Spotify, you can just tap the 5 stars. It doesn't let you leave a written review, although you can comment on the episodes. And then go subscribe over on Project Me TV, and you can comment on episodes there. We read them regularly. Wishing you great health, wealth, and worth as always. Just trust it. You've been called. You're not imagining things. Love you.